We're learning a Chattanooga police captain under investigation for harassment has been under investigation twice before. Mark Smeltzer is being investigated for an incident on February 16th. Now, we filed an open records request for his background. We've learned he was under investigation for harassment in July of 2021. Those allegations were then said to be unfounded. He also faced accusations of improper procedure in 2004 and was punished with a written reprimand. Captain Smeltzer is actively working his regular assignment while the investigation is ongoing, and we'll keep you up to date on the outcome on air and online. The Chattanooga Police Department's new traffic policy could cause people involved in wrecks to pay more out-of-pocket expenses. Our Dallas Payton has this story.
It's been 3 months since the Chattanooga Police enforced their new traffic policy, and a local insurance agent says there is a glaring problem. Since the new year, officers do not respond to wrecks that don't fall under a certain criteria. Instead, each party is asked to self-report their sides of what took place. Richard Self with State Farm Insurance Agency says without a police officer on the scene of a crash, it's hard to know what really happened or if the information is correct.
Neither insurance company, if their investigation doesn't come to a clear cut who's at fault here, we think that we're going to pay for the damages to our customer's vehicle, and the other insurance company will pay for the damages to those if they can't agree.
Self says the only way the new policy will work is if both parties are honest about what happened. Not knowing who's at fault could lead to an increase in insurance rates.
When we have to pay out more in claims for whatever reason, then insurance companies do raise rates to try to. We have to keep reserves in order to pay claims. So yeah, I can see an impact coming for all insurance companies.
Just recently, Timothy Goins Sr. says his 17-year-old son was T-boned by another driver.
So he got out, and the man told him, I'm sorry, I didn't see you, I'm sorry. So my son let me call my dad. So he called me, and I'm like, well, did you call the police? He's like, yes, he called the police. I said, get his tag, get his insurance, and get his driver's license.
Goins says the man provided insurance, a name and address, but never showed his driver's license. Police came to the scene because his son was dealing with injuries. Goins' son claims officers never did any investigating and gave both drivers papers for their next steps.
I don't know if his insurance even is going to hold up, but we have the man's name and his insurance company, but the insurance adjuster called me and told me that it's a coverage problem.
Self encourages drivers to always call dispatch or 911 and let them make the decision on if an officer should go to the scene. For Local 3 News, I'm Dallas Payton.
Since those changes went into effect, Chattanooga police have responded to only 1/3 of traffic accident calls. We have new details on the Erlanger helicopter crash in Macon County, North Carolina last night. The patient and 2 crew members are being treated in the hospital. They're all said to be in stable condition. 1 crew member was evaluated and released. You can see the wreckage on your screen there. The FAA and NTSB are investigating the crash. No cause has been released yet. The Macon County Sheriff says the helicopter was traveling to Mission Hospital in Asheville, North Carolina. Erlanger Health System says this is the first crash in the program's 34-year history. Lawmakers hope a proposed Tennessee bill will speed up sexual assault investigations. The bill would require the TBI to perform forensic analysis of sexual assault evidence collection kits within 30 days of receiving them. It would also require the TBI to submit a plan for eliminating a backlog of sexual assault evidence collection kits within 45 days after the bill passes. Earlier this week, the TBI announced it will start outsourcing the testing of at least 550 rape kits to a private lab in Florida. The House Finance Ways and Means Subcommittee will take up the bill next Wednesday. Unum volunteers spent their morning packing snack packs to help local families that are homeless and hungry in our community. Volunteers organized more than 1,000 snack packs to feed the children in YMCA's YCAP program. 1 in 8 Americans face hunger across the country, and 41% of the people in our region who are food insecure are children. It's a statistic that Andy Smith, executive director of the YCAP program, is all too familiar with.
Kids were really going home hungry, and outside of school, free and reduced breakfast and free and reduced lunch, they weren't getting any more food after that.
There are many ways you can give back to families in need. You can donate to the Chattanooga Area Food Bank online or dropped off canned goods at their location off Amnicola Highway. Hey, it's Friday, so we know what's on your mind. We want to know what's happening with this weekend ahead of us. So meteorologist Clay Smith is in for David Carnes, and he's here to tell us all about it. Clay.
Yes, Cindy, it's been a great day, and as you can see behind me, surrounded by daffodils, and this is down in Gibbs Gardens, just north of Atlanta in North Georgia, and the daffodils are out. We have a lot of trees blooming here around Chattanooga. Of course, it's been very mild, and take a look at this photo as well. I mean, if you haven't been down to Gibbs Gardens, I would recommend going. I haven't been myself, but definitely have it on the bucket list as we come upon spring. But today, it's been a little bit cooler. You know, we got accustomed to the 70s and 80s at the end of February and really early March, but today a little bit closer to where we should be this time of the year. 59 in Chattanooga, so temperatures are starting to drop now that the sun is setting. 60 in Dalton, 55 in Murphy, and 48 in Altamont, so a little bit cooler along the Cumberland Plateau. And we have winds out of the northwest bringing in that colder air, so it is going to be a chilly night here across the Tennessee Valley. Here's a look at your current wind gusts, anywhere from about 20 to even 25 miles per hour, but the winds will gradually start to die down as we move into the late evening and overnight hours. But I mean, check a look at the southeast. Not a whole lot going on. High pressure building in. That front is now to our east, bringing some stronger storms to parts of the Florida Panhandle. But again, for the rest of the evening, things are looking good. That'll also carry over into your Saturday as well. So again, the sun is setting. Temperatures will drop into the 40s pretty quickly. And by tomorrow morning, we're going to be in the mid 30s here in Chattanooga. Wind chills potentially in the upper 20s. And outside of the city, there could be a few areas that drop below freezing. So it is going to be a cold night. And then we're going to be dry for Saturday with more rain chances as we move into your Sunday. So we'll talk more about that with your full forecast coming up here in just about 10 minutes.
Clay, thank you. Coming up next on Local 3 News at 6, a clothing store is helping women this month buy affordable clothes. A local clothing store kicked off a clothing drive for those in need. Daily Thread opened in January. Their goal is to get enough clothing to donate to the Chattanooga Rescue Mission. Kaylee Horn wants to make everyone feel good about themselves for an affordable price.
We're taking new and used clothes for the women in need. So far this week we've got like 4 bags, like big bags full. And the point of our store, really, we just support like affordable fashion every day.
The Daily Thread is inside Northgate Mall near Belk. They'll be accepting clothing for women and children until the end of this month. The Beltone Hearing Care Foundation is stepping up to help a woman hear again. Betty Chansey had lost her husband abruptly because of COVID, and he was their sole source of income. Now she is having some financial issues. She was referred to the Beltone Hearing Care Center by a friend. Her hearing evaluation showed a moderate hearing loss, but it wasn't within her means to afford hearing aids.
We reached out to Beltone, which we have a foundation that helps people in situations like this, and they responded, and we're bringing Miss Betty in today to fit her with some brand new hearing aids.
Smith says it was a great opportunity to help. Coming up, a Red Bank group wants to give old bikes a new life. It's how they are making a difference. And Clay Smith has a look at your 7-day forecast that starts off with the weekend just ahead.
This is Local 3 News at 6.
A Red Bank nonprofit is using bicycles to help families in our community. Local 3's Lori Mitchell tells us how they're on a mission to make a difference.
All of these bikes, we probably are looking at around 400 here, have been donated in by the community, and we just could not do our work without that.
Blake Pierce is giving new life to unwanted bikes. He's part of an organization that takes used bicycles and refurbishes them to donate to people in need.
We're looking at the brakes to make sure they're safe. We're looking at the derailleur to make sure it's operational. We want to make sure their bolts are tightened.
Pierce and his neighbors started the project during the pandemic to give kids something fun to do while they were at home.
What has grown from, started as a garage project, has now turned into probably one of the largest bike organizations in the state of Tennessee.
Since then, they've given away more than 600 bikes, big and small. Their nonprofit is called White Oak Bicycle Co-op. They work with schools and community organizations to distribute the bikes to those who need them, kids who don't have a bike and adults who need transportation.
We're doing full bicycle maintenance within our shop and providing those in need with the same services that they would get if they were to go to any other bike shops in town.
The goal is to also get kids riding into healthier and happier childhoods.
We put on new chains, we put new tubes on, because ideally we like when they receive the bike for them not to know that it's been used.
The nonprofit has a bike educator who teaches and promotes bike safety in the community. Each child who receives a bike is given a new helmet. Pierce says it's all possible because of the community's support.
Yes, this is a big community project because we couldn't do any of our work without our community members who donate bikes.
A passion that has turned into a mission. With this week's Making a Difference, I'm Lori Mitchell.
There are 8 different drop-off sites where you can donate your bicycles. You'll find those locations by visiting this story under the Making a Difference section on our website. Now we want to send it over to meteorologist Clay Smith in for David Carnes today. Quite a nice day. Can we keep it up a little while longer?
Just a little while longer,
Okay.
Cindy, and then we're going to be talking rain chances as we move into your Sunday. Also, you're going to lose that precious hour of sleep this weekend as we spring forward at 2 a.m. on Sunday morning. So here's a look at how that's going to affect you. Saturday, sunrise right before 7 a.m., sunset 6:45. Then we jump ahead to Sunday. We lose that extra hour of daylight in the morning and put that on the back end of the day. So sunset closer to 8 p.m. and of course that sunrise not until nearly 8 a.m. So the mornings will be darker, but we will have more sunlight at the end of the day. So we are entering into a daylight saving time and we'll be there until November. Here's a look at your temperatures. 59 now in Chattanooga, so we're starting to drop slowly but surely outside of the city. Temperatures in the mid 50s up into Athens, Blue Ridge, Dayton, 48 in Altamont. So it is a little bit cool. We have winds out of the northwest at about 10 to 15 miles per hour. And here's a look at some of your highs. Just a sample across the Tennessee Valley. Dave in Turtletown had 57, Doug in Delano at 62, Dan in Dayton 60, Leslie on Signal Mountain 62 degrees, Don in Trenton had 61, Ronnie in East Brainerd at 63, and Mulberry Mountain had a nice 58 degrees. Overall, this is a pretty nice March day. We'll continue that nice weather tonight, although it will be a bit on the chilly side. High pressure builds in, rain moves off to the east. We had a little bit of rain this morning, not that impactful, but by Sunday morning, our next round of rain will be sitting right over the top of East Tennessee, North Alabama, and portions of Georgia as the low pressure tracks across the southeast. Now this is going to cut up into the Ohio Valley, pumping in some of that Gulf moisture. So we're going to have plenty of rainfall throughout the day on Sunday, maybe even as soon as Saturday night. And then as we go into the evening hours, most of that rain starts to exit the region from west to east pretty quickly. And then going into your Monday morning, still going to have some lingering clouds, but Monday afternoon sunshine, and then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday all looking quite nice, but it will be much cooler moving into next week. So hopefully you haven't gotten too accustomed to those spring-like temperatures that we've been dealing with. Now going into your Sunday, there's also going to be a severe potential. Now fortunately for us, this is mainly going to be along the Gulf Coast. However, a strong storm or two may try to fire up across northeast Alabama or North Georgia, but there's not going to be a lot of instability or storm fuel to work with. So as we take a look at your Sunday morning, again, these blues and especially the greens and yellows, that indicates a really favorable atmosphere for severe development. Now that's going to try to push to the north as we move into the afternoon on Sunday, but this cold front quickly going to sweep that off to the south. So not really anticipating too much in the way of severe weather. This will be quite the rainmaker. We could have anywhere from 1 to even 1.5 inches of rain drop on Sunday. So it is going to be quite the wet day. So as we take a look at your weekend, again, highs in the 50s, spring forward Sunday with the rain, and then Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, some sunshine with temperatures climbing up into the 60s by the end of next week. Cindy?
All right, Clay, thank you. The Vols took on Missouri today. Sports director Ben Bobick has the score for us and highlights. We'll hear all about it from him coming up.
Local 3's basketball tournament coverage from Nashville is brought to you by Warren & Griffin, your local 5-star law firm.
Welcome back to the Music City. Could be called the Windy City today. Nashville, Tennessee, home of the SEC tournament. The Tennessee Volunteers taking on Missouri in the SEC tournament quarterfinals today. It was going to be a tight one. Remember, the Tigers got the Vols back in Knoxville on a buzzer-beating 3. Did the Vols have the revenge, or was Missouri ready to play? It was a little bit of both there, man. It was a great game inside Bridgestone Arena this afternoon. And back and forth early on there, and the Vols looked like they were going to kind of start to take advantage of a lot of Missouri turnovers. Tyreek Key, back-to-back turnovers, getting the Vols a little cushion. But Missouri, man, they just always clap back. But late in the half, kind of like what happened on Thursday, Jemai Mashak had a great game today. Bangs in the triple to give Tennessee the lead into halftime. And then Tennessee would actually go up 8 to start the second half, but Missouri just would not go away. Noah Carter with some big threes to give them a lead. But then Tyreek Key would come back and make it a 1-point game. And it was just back and forth for a good meat of this ball game. And so you knew it was going to come down to the wire and who was going to crack into it at the end. And those people to crack into it at the end with Missouri Tigers, as a big 3 from Nick Honor with less than 2 minutes to go gave Missouri a 3-point lead. Then Demoy Hodge, who led the way with 26 points for Mizzou today, nailed what would probably be the dagger to put them up 6 with 1:30 to go. They would inevitably get it on an offensive rebound. And Kobe Brown, a big game from him. He had 24 points. Brown and Hodge combined for 50 points. Missouri moving on as they eliminate Tennessee and ruin their chances at back-to-back SEC tournament titles. Missouri wins it 79-71. So the Vols now await their seed on Selection Sunday. On Sunday, they'll get some extra rest if that's what you want, but they're still going to the big dance. They're kind of flirting between a 3 or a 4 seed. We'll see on Selection Sunday. Now down the road in Murfreesboro, before we came to Nashville, just kind of like yesterday, the Bradley Central Bearettes were playing for a spot in the state championship game for the first time since 2019. They took on Cookeville. Take a look at the highlights.
Bearettes back at it again, this time in the 4A semifinals against the Cookeville Lady Cavaliers. Another hot start for Bradley Central. Freshman Kimora Fields doing her thing down low with an and one to start her Friday. Then how about the senior Hannah Jones knocking down the triple from the top of the key? And they're not done there. Avery Brewer from downtown. This one all Bradley Central as they led by 10 after 1. Second quarter, Wednesday's hero Harmony Ware still loving the big stage. Ware getting buckets. And here's some of that vintage Bearettes defense. Fields on the block. Bradley Central led 31-14 at the break. Cookeville, a semifinal team for a reason, begins their push from the start in the third, a deep 3. And then early in the fourth, they cut the Bradley lead to 8 with another big triple. Could we have a repeat of Wednesday? The Bearettes learned their lesson. They go to their bread and butter on the pick and roll. Jones, the easy deuce. Ware, another big game as she led all scores with 20. And for the first time since they won it in 2019, the Bearettes are going to the ship. Bradley Central wins it 59-43, and they'll have a chance to bring home gold ball number 7 on Saturday.
The difference was kids being a little more basketball savvy, being a little smarter, understanding the moment. Me beating a dead horse, reminding them 25 times between now and Wednesday.
We made it this far now. Why stop now? So I just came in with the mindset to just keep going, and I want to win a state championship. So that's what I'm going for.
I want it for myself, but also my teammates. We worked since, all year round basically. It's not really, don't really get a break that much, but we're here for it. Last game.
And there you have it. The Bradley Central Bearettes will take on Bartlett in the state championship game tomorrow at 2:30. McMinn Central also playing in a 2A state semifinal. They're down 5 right now in the fourth quarter. They're looking to punch their ticket. But we'll have full Vols highlights and post-game reaction tonight at 11.